everyone, Omar Santana-Gomez, he, him, here with our newest installment of our Equity in Session video series. As I teased about in our video last week, today we are showcasing the work of the Washington State Commission on Asian Pacific American Affairs, also known as CAPAA. Joining us for this video is Yodkerepauprai, Project Manager with CAPAA. Kenyasa, it is great having you to join us today. So excited to hear about the important work you all are working on. But before I send it over to you, I just wanted to let you know I had the opportunity to watch the public hearing on HB 2209, celebrating Lunar New Year. It was powerful to hear all the young voices that provided testimony. But anyway, I just wanted to offer that. Please take it away with some updates from the Commission on Asian Pacific American Affairs.
Well, thank you, Omar, and thank you so much for inviting CAPAA to this series. Hello, everyone. My name is Kenyasa Yodkerepauprai. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the project manager for the Washington State Commission on Asian and Pacific American Affairs. First and foremost, I want to wish you and everyone watching a happy Lunar New Year. It's the year of the dragon. So I'm here to tell you about our priority legislation and just some general updates about what's going on at CAPAA. Starting with legislation, the first one I'll name is HB 2209. This would establish Lunar New Year as a legislatively recognized day. This is so important for us to pass because many of our communities in Washington celebrate the Lunar New Year. And also Lunar New Year is celebrated all over the world, officially recognized by 8 countries and celebrated in many more countries. Washington would be the 3rd state to recognize Lunar New Year, following California and Colorado, and this would be a great pathway for federal recognition. The second bill I'd like to talk about is SB 5427, and this would establish a reporting hotline for tracking hate crimes and bias incidences. In 2020, we saw an unfortunate rise of anti-Asian hate, and the FBI reported 544 hate crime incidences in Washington State in 2022. However, we know that not every hate crime or bias incident is being reported. So this would serve as a centralized mechanism to track and provide support and resources to victims. Moving on from legislative affairs to goings-on at CAPAA. Firstly, the commission is hosting our Golden Celebration on March 23rd at Highland College, where we'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary. There'll be dinner, entertainment, an awards ceremony, and remarks from elected officials and prominent community members. There's still tickets available and sponsorship opportunities as well. So if you'd like more information, go to our website. It's capaa.wa.gov/Golden Celebration. Speaking of websites, we're really excited to announce that we are creating a new website in partnership with WATAC. And we're really hopeful to launch it in the next few months. Lastly, we've contracted with the University of Washington to conduct an education disparity study for K-12 students. There'll be 2 studies, one for Asian students and one for Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander students. The last time this study was conducted was in 2008. The goal is to understand the extent of the opportunity gap in the domains of school achievement, post-secondary outcomes, and social emotional well-being, and then also to understand the lived experiences and barriers to educational equity. That's it for our updates. Thank you so much for inviting CAPAA, and Happy New Year.
Thanks again, Kenyasa, for joining us today and sharing some of the great work happening over at the Washington State Commission on Asian Pacific American Affairs. Now, we're going to send it over to Patrick to wrap us up with some bill updates. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Omar. It's Patrick Stickney, he, him pronouns for more bills to watch. This week, we saw another cutoff, the opposite house or opposite chamber policy cutoff. This means that there is one more cutoff, the opposite house fiscal cutoff, which will be on Monday, February 26th. All of the bills that we highlighted last week have made it past the policy cutoff, and many of these bills did not need to go to a fiscal committee. But Senate Bill 5955 regarding equity in large port districts, Senate Bill 5462 promoting inclusive learning standards and instructional materials in public schools, and Senate Bill 5427 that Kenyasa discussed earlier on establishing a reporting hotline and tracking hate crimes and bias incidents all went to fiscal committees and will need to make it past that last step before the fiscal cutoff, before they can potentially be considered on the House floor. We also wanted to share that House Bill 1954 regarding reproductive health care services and gender affirming treatment was passed by the Senate, which means that it will make its way to the governor's desk. That's all we have for today. Thank you for watching, and with 2 weeks left, be sure to check in next week for our second to last equity in session.